Alright guys, girls, I had these designs originally, we talked about just a little bit ago. I have never been a full fan of them. I needed something to get my thoughts going. I've decided this is more the route I want to go for. I'm hoping it comes in focus there. But it very much, these two more so than this one, reflect the interior of the car, and I thought that would be nice to flow the theme through. So some ideas I'm playing with here, get it matching to the rest of the car. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better about that option. So I guess I'll have to learn to use the sewing machine back there that I picked up about half a year ago. So I guess we'll have to do some practicing and learn to sew. So thank you very much to Grant Donaldson. He has sent me matching seat insert material to what was in this car. He did the seats in here. So that's super cool for this aspect of the build. And not only that, he sent me the last of the stuff in existence. Okay guys, normally I come in the shop here for about half an hour each morning before I go to work. It just works well with having kids and stuff at home. But now I'm here in the Saturday evening after visiting at Tony's house for the evening, and it was bugging me trying to get this thing working. I think we've got it figured out now. At least I know what type of changes to make to hit my mark. So I'm gonna give a shot at that now, and I'll let you know when I figure it out, which will obviously be next clip, but it'll probably take me a little bit longer. Kind of excited. I've wanted to do upholstery for a long time. I always admire the guys who are really good at it. So I'll keep working here, keep plugging away. I've gone according to my blueprint. I've picked the one I like, and I've laid it out with some fine line tape. And I do kind of think this little jog in here adds a little bit of character. I've had some positive feedback on that as well. So the white little jog you see in there, that's where the piping's gonna be. And then we're gonna make two inserts that match the seat. And in reality, these are a little bit narrower than the actual seat, the pattern that runs in the seat, but it suits the size of this board. So that is why we've gone that route, but I think it'll work very well. Plus you can see the little rings that are in there, just kind of laid out. It all kind of, in perspective, flows very well, as opposed to I had a straight one laid out here. I didn't like it as much. So I think for pleasing to the eye, that is a pattern we will go with. And just as a reminder, that's that guy right there. I've got two inserts cut. They're gonna go over here. And it is bigger because it needs to be, because we got the split that goes down here, so I'm adding an extra inch for that. And then have a centimeter on each side, an inch to the top and bottom, and that's that. Hopefully I can do a nice job of this. So guys and girls, my first ever sewing on this test panel here. And the whole reason of this was to see how much of these are gonna shrink. We'll hold it up against our paper pattern. But I'm pretty happy that I was able to actually accomplish this. I might link up in the description, if I think of it when I'm editing, the guy who I've been following, some upholstery contacts that I have. Christian is one of the guys who did the headliner, told me check this guy out. Grant said the same thing. He did the seats for the car. So I've checked out his channel, and there's lots to learn there, and it is very well put together. So yeah, check out the description, and that's where I'm learning all of this. If I can do it, guys, you can do it. Alright guys, I had followed a tutorial online. You're supposed to test, and I thought, well, how much is it actually going to move? But from this point to this point here, that should be this to this. So when you line it up here at the stitch point, you can already see it's off here, and it's actually off this much by the end. So now that we have what we need versus where it comes out at when you draw it on there, we can actually find the difference and make these pleats a little bit wider. And that'll actually, I think, do a good thing for us here. Get our pattern here, our drawing. This is the one we're working off of. I've now made these here. We're gonna put the washers in there yet, but that'll happen later. And to figure out where everything's situated, these are the two panels. And I've kind of just laid a rough sketch on here. It's gonna go in this area. And these are a little bit bigger than I need them to be. I'm gonna sew them down on the edges. And there's extra in the middle here. We're gonna cut it out right at the end. And then they'll fold around. So there'll be one here. And one about there. And it'll probably come up to more like this kind of range here. And then we'll have piping running on each side and red stitch accent. At least that's the plan. Let's see if we can pull that off. So I'm doing a little testing here, guys, for the transition of upholstery. So this is without foam and this is with. It's going to transition into the rest of the trunk material. Just a test piece here. I would have thought, and I probably would have done this, that stitching this without any foam would fold nicer than this with, but look at that. This folds nicely on the line here. This is exciting for me, guys. I've got this top and bottom joined together for both of these. I guess the next part is building this middle. There's gonna be a bit of a taper, kind of a cup shape here, I guess, as we can see right there. And that's supposed to come around the logos here. I'll show you the seats for those of you who are just tuning in now, and just a refresher for those of you who have been along for the whole build. So come with me, let's go check out the car. Right, guys, we'll go off the back seat. It's kind of mimicking that. So you can see I've made this pattern already. I've put the top on. Best bet, bring it in. There you go. So you can see my piece and the factory, or the piece I had done by Grant Donaldson. And he was very nice. He sent me the last of this material in existence. They don't make it anymore. So now we're up to doing the piping here and adding the red accent stitching. So these washers are gonna come in later. I got those sitting on the bench as well. Right there. But man, guys, this is like the funnest. All right, guys, so you can see I've got a red accent stitch in there. This is actually a lot of fun sewing, guys. I'm loving it. So let's hope we don't jam the thing up here. But let's see if we can get this to work for us. So we'll start it in reverse. It's always good to go back over your stitches. Then reverse it at the end. There we go, guys. See if you're seeing that. So super exciting for me. It is turning out awesome. That's exactly where these are gonna sit. Got my red stitches in there. I'm about to add the foam to it now, but so good. I am having fun. All right, guys, girls, I really like this design, but I think I'm gonna have to change it up a little bit. I got these funny tensions in here, and at my early skill level, it's something that I think with pulling tight and mounting, you could get them to go away. But I really would like the material to have foam attached to the back when I'm stitching it on. I think that would look a lot cleaner, a lot better. It'll still look good, it just won't be the same design. So we're gonna cut this out. We'll just shorten this up a little bit here, and I'll start a new panel that's just gonna be one straight line in the middle. It'll still look good. We'll just be after this other design that I was okay with, the middle one here. So we'll work with that. And this is all me learning and still enjoying it. But I know there's probably some other things here that need to be done different. Probably not such a tight curve here with this. You upholstery guys out there probably have other tips for me. All right, guys, girls, I'm attaching that new piece here now. I've got it made up. The thing is, this machine is not big enough for this work, so you'll probably cringe at the way I have to do this, but in order to sew, we got a layer of piping, which means 2 layers of vinyl. There's 2 layers of foam, and there is 2 more layers of vinyl. It's got to go through all of that. So I'm manually doing this because the machine doesn't have enough power to go through. So we're just literally turning this guy by hand here and just letting it work itself through. So it's slow going, but it's the only way I can do it. My hope is to buy a proper industrial sewing machine, maybe a Pfaff or something like that, with the walking foot on it. But until we get to that point, I'll have to use this machine. It works well for everything else. But these final layers, putting the pieces that I've made together, that's where the challenge comes in. So we do have a piping foot on here right now. So here's what I got so far. This is done. I gotta put in the rings now, or grommets. I've stitched an edge around here, so I have something to wrap around the back side of that panel when I glue it on. And we'll just pull them tight like that. So I'm gonna put the grommets in, and then we'll glue this guy onto there. All right, guys, I've got 2 rivets in. I'm confident in how it works. To install them, you do have to cut in the fabric, so you better be sure where you want it to go. I'm using a little chalk pencil, and basically I gotta line these guys all up with the other ones. You set it in place and you trace the outline. So you won't be able to see it. This pencil is very hard to mark on this textured stuff, but it's there. I'm gonna get my razor blade and we're gonna cut that out. We'll put an X in it and then we'll trim it off. And the idea is not to get the hole like way too big and have your grommet fall out of there. You want it to be a little bit snug actually. So we've got our hole here. So I've got this wood burning tool here. I got it as a gift at some point, and it does a lot more than burn wood in my shop. We're just gonna open up the back side of that hole here. 2 parts. Got a little bit of marking inside them for the rivets, or sorry, grommets. So once I've got it fit, you won't see that from there, sorry guys, but there's another washer type piece that goes in the bottom. And with the one piece of the tool on the bottom and one on the top, first thing I'll do is tap it, and then you're gonna run a rotating motion. So I kind of go till there's no sharp ridge left on the bottom, and then we know we're evenly there. There we go. That one is the one we just did. All right, guys and girls, I just finished wrapping the main centerpiece. Let's have a look at it. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I gotta add the graphics into here yet, or the emblems, but we'll go do a quick test fit into the car. Let's see if those magnets hold it in place. Nice. So we gotta build the end pieces yet, and this trunk is done besides needing a floor mat, which is about halfway there. So I'll get these emblems in here, and this centerpiece will be done in my books. So right on. So to get those to mount, the emblems here, I use the HPD glue. It's a pretty much instant dry kind of glue. I use it for building my model kits, like plastic model cars and stuff. But it worked really well for this and a whole lot of other things. So this panel is done and can stay in the car. So I've got the center section done. We got to finish the outsides, which is, see, you can see it behind me there. We got to build 2 panels identical, and here are my thoughts. I've been putting a little time into thinking, how do we get that seam to look good? I'll show you what I got planned. So on this side that's completed, we have piping and a red stitch. I would like the same thing over here, piping and red stitch. And I've gapped the material a little bit because if you look at this sample piece here, it's going to have material to make the distance up. Plus, it'll fit in here with the piping like this. Get wrapped on the back side. So this piece actually fits in here, and I'm hoping that when it's in there like this, you can kind of see it, the gap is gone and it looks like just a seamless panel that's stitched together. And I can still remove these panels. And once again, we're removing this because fuel tank access, battery access, and I have some emission stuff in this corner, like the charcoal canister, for example. So I'm gonna get rolling on this now. And what I learned too with the piping here, it's good to have it stop at the end of the panel. I wasn't sure where that was gonna be, so I sent it along. I had to open it up, cut out what I didn't need so I could fold the rest around and then restitch it. Rest around meaning around the back side of this panel. So my plan is to have the piece exactly the length we need on this one. And you can see if you don't take up your allowance for a gap, it's actually going to overlap here. So this one is prepped. I'm going to build it as a whole, then see where this one comes in for gaps after that. So initially for piping, I bought this stuff as pre-made. I found I didn't like using it because it's hard to keep it straight. These are all cut in here. So what I've ended up doing for everything else on this project, you can buy the piping, like the pipe that goes inside. It's kind of a rubbery plastic. And then you just cut this 3 centimeters or 3.2. I went a little shorter on this one. I went exactly 3. So when it folds in, it's not touching the back of the car and kind of pushing itself back out. Or I guess wherever this is magneted onto in the trunk, if it's too deep, it's going to push off from there and the magnets won't be allowed to do their job as well. So we're going to do one for this and one for this. They're side specific because potentially this one's a little bit different than this. I'm guessing if we line them up. They're fairly close, but I want them to be ever so slightly shorter than this so that it folds nicely around. So I've got both black edges done. They're going to cover up these end pieces. Now what I am hoping is when I wrap this piece, this edge pulls tight against here and it kind of pulls this down. And because this is open, I can wrap this over the back side and have this stay loose and trim off any extra. All right, guys, check this out. Let's see if we can bring it into camera. I've got the last piece made. Or I guess second last piece. Let's go test fit it in the car. All right, we'll bring it over here. I might need 2 hands to do this, but if all goes well, it should fit all right in here. Check that out, guys. Seamless. Now they match. So now we're gonna do that side. All right. So here's the interior for those of you who haven't seen it in a while or haven't seen it before. And if we go to the trunk, I've done my best to mimic everything that's in the interior in the theme that matches here. And even the burlap is on the back side of the doors there. It looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. So this will allow compartments for detailing stuff. Back here is access to taillight stuff. And I've also left access here. These pop right off. And that all with magnets. They allow taillight bulb access. So now I have the carpet. Gonna take it to my workplace and we're gonna put an edging around it. This is just the rubber mat that I've put in there to keep the water out of the rest of the trunk, if anything would spill in there. All right, guys and girls, here is the completed trunk.